Hi everyone, I'm Coach Aaron Delgado and we will continue with volleyball. I am a bit disappointed not to have this unit on the court because it is one of my favorite sports in PE. At the end of the unit, you will be able to 1. Know and execute the basic skills of volleyball. 2. Understand how the game works. 3. Identify certain rules of the sport. First, let's start with the basic concepts. What is volleyball? Volleyball is a team sport that is played on a court divided by a net. The net is quite high. For a woman, it is 2 meters and 24 centimeters, and for a man, 2 meters and 43 centimeters. Each team has a maximum of 6 players. The goal of the game is to get to 25 points on each set. A team has to win 3 out of 5 sets in official competitions. The deciding set is played to 15 points. An important detail is that you have to win by 2 points. So if both teams reach 24 points on the first sets, not the fifth one, they no longer have to get 25 points, but to 26. And so until a team wins by 2. But how do you get a point? A team gets a point in several ways, but the most basic way to understand it is that when the other team does not return the ball, which means that anytime the ball bounces inside the opponent's side of the court, your team gets a point. You can achieve this by serving, by spiking the blocking, or just when the other team lets the ball bounce, maybe because of a lack of communication. You can also get a point if the other team's bounce touches the net, hits the ball out of bounds, or touches the ball more than 3 times. When a player touches the ball twice in a row, known as double touch, if the player touches the line when serving, or when the players in their back row invade the front row to the spike. Tricky, right? And then, the most interesting rule in my opinion, if a player performs a skill incorrectly by holding the ball too long or by carrying the ball, which means that there was not a clean hit. A point also goes to the other team. You cannot stay in your same position at all times. Sometimes you get to be at the back row and sometimes you will be at the front row. People at the back row cannot spike passing that 3-meter line that you see. If you're in the front row, you can spike from everywhere. Each player has a position that they perform during the game. They are numbered. As we mentioned before, there are 6 players in the court. Their positions are, if you're facing the net, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. As you can see, positions are players are placed counterclockwise, and the movement of the players when they have to rotate is clockwise. A team rotates every time they win the point as the receiving team. Let's look at the example. The receiving team is Stanford with the white shirts. As you can see, there is a bump, set, and spike. And the defensive team now is Minnesota, who spikes again. It's a big rally, but still you'll be able to see spike, and then the winner of the point will be Stanford. Remember, they were the receiving team, so since they get a point, they have to rotate. So let's see what happened now. Now they have to serve the ball. As you can see again, set, bump, and spike. And again, they win the point. Stanford gets a point one more time. So now they don't have to rotate. They stay in the same positions now. Since they're gonna keep the serve, the team that loses the points is the one that is rotating. Let's go over the positions. We are going to concentrate on position 4, which is also known as the outside hitter. 3 is the middle block or center, and 2, who is the setter. Most of the time, it is called 2 because normally he or she receives the pass and he or she are the second player to touch the ball. The number 2 player decides if he or she wants to set to the middle or to the outside hitter or to the right side, or maybe to the back row. The setters are really quick and they are responsible to create the best position attack. They have to know his or her players really well and they have to stay as unpredictable as possible. Outside hitter, our position 4 is one of the attackers of the team. He or she receives the best set from the setter and tries to put away the ball to get a point for his or her team. Let's see some outside hitters in action. Then we have the defense specialist, also called the libero. This is a recent position. He or she is a player that remains in the back row and has the time to defend really well. He or she wears a different jersey because the libero cannot spike or serve, only in the US College League. The ball and the refs have to be able to distinguish a libero among the other players. Not because a player has a certain position does not mean that they cannot do anything else. It is just a position that they are perform really well. The goal of the hitter is to do a spike that does not return to his or her team's side. A kill hit by a spiker gives his or her team a point, but other team gets to defend their side with something called a block. A block is when two or three players jump near the net to stop the spike of the other team, or at least touch it to take some of the speed of the ball and make it possible for the team to control that attack and have a chance. Sometimes block is really successful. It does not let the ball pass it at all. Volleyball is a very unique sport. Here is a key element that I want you to pay attention to. Your goal as a player it is to slow down the ball, declare it, cushion, remove the speed. Everything in sports is about control. Taking the speed of the ball is what helps you control the ball better. As you can see, volleyball is a unique sport. You have to keep the ball in the air without holding, without possess the ball for a long time like in other sports. So you have to create it. This is what this is a dynamic sport, and is that this is the reason why this is one of my favorite PE sports. Thank you.